The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, David White, sometimes known as Super Dave, sometimes known as the Koala of Wall Street. And I was very upset to find out that the koala is the mascot for baby changing stations. So maybe I'll have to change my animal type. Maybe the koala has been taken over by baby diaper changing stations. Could it be? Could it be? Could I have packed a bad, lovable, and squeezably soft, hairy animal to emulate instead of the wolf of Wall Street running around biting people? I wanted to be the people that everybody hugged. I just need a hug. Anyway, we're going on to the market that's already in progress and over most of this TFNN station. When we look at the market today, we've been up, we've been down, we are all around, and right now we're off 1.5 points on the S&P cash with 2.5 billion shares. So we still have a very good volume, relatively, at least over the last 6 months, very good volume to start this time of day with. We got down to a low of 1737.92, at least on my station down here. And I know a lot of people were expecting to break out the bottoms in the market here. I was not one of those folks. But we're going to get to that. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. And I was running late, but actually made me some very good money today. Normally I stay out of the way of futures. But today there was something so compelling, and I knew exactly when someone said it that it was time for action. And I took one of the few future trades that I've taken without considerable thought. I had a decent amount of thought, but normally I'm looking at things for weeks to set up before I'll put money into futures and waiting for an event that's normally I don't trade them over a period of 4 or 5 hours. Normally I put something on, it's on for weeks or months. I've actually done 2 futures trades here in the last few weeks, which is starting to get scary. But there's just so much money to be made in this market right now. I can't stand it. What can you say? Anyway, we've got a few things going on. In history today, which we always like to start the show, is in 1637, tulip mania hits its peak in the Netherlands. We've talked about the bubbles that are, basically the bubble to beat all bubbles, or the bubble that all bubbles are measured against.
Bubble.
Since I made that, I have to use it. But tulip mania, for those people that are new to the show, is when everybody just started trading these tulip bulbs back and forth. And pretty soon you could trade a tulip bulb for somebody's house. And, of course, it all came crashing down. And on this day in 1637, the modern age of the bubble has started. And, oh, boy, just over the next 5 years, these bulbs lose an annual average of 76% of their value until they fetch only 37.5 guilders in 1641. Amazingly enough, they've gone back and dug these up and found out that the reason these tulip bulbs were so prized at the time was a fungus that grew on them that made the colors much brighter than the average tulip. And everybody thought they were special. And pretty soon the plants became immune to it and went back to the tulips we see today. But a lot of paintings of them at the time led researchers to go back and figure out that it was a fungus among us that made these tulips so extraordinary and start a giant tulip bubble. The reason I probably bring this up, I didn't know this until about 5 minutes before the show, and I was researching this wonderful blog that brings up history in the financial marketplace. But probably about just after 1 o'clock Eastern time, I was talking to Andy Heck about Bitcoin, and we were talking about bubbles and everything else. And I said, well, I think Bitcoin is the digital tulips of this generation, but we'll probably talk about that maybe more tomorrow afternoon. But when he does his show, maybe he'll come on early. We'll talk about tulips and Bitcoins and doggy coins, which his buddy called Doji coins, but it's spelled dog-e coin, and it's got a dog on it. I don't think it's a doji anything. Anyway, there's a lot of ways to lose your money in the world, and everybody's figuring out a new one here, which makes me think we're probably pretty close to the highs. Anyway, as we get back to the markets already in progress, let me go ahead and where is my charts? I get my charts up and running here. But it is, I need one more thing here. What am I missing? That's what I'm missing. Hang on just a second. There we go. So I know how much time we have left. It's always precious. But what do we have? Oh, what I wanted to get into was gold this morning. I was taking my newest trading dog, Vixen. She's 7 months old, and I wanted to get her fixed before she started causing problems around the neighborhood. So I was dropping her off at the vet's this morning, and I had to go through a little traffic. So I knew I'd be kind of stuck there for a little while, so I rarely listen to Bloomberg. Sometimes I'll watch it in the morning. But Bloomberg's got a little app for Android where you can listen to him. So I'm listening to him, and I'm thinking, most of it's pretty boring here this morning. Then he gets into start talking about gold. And I've listened to this guy forever. He's been around, 20 years on Bloomberg Radio. And interestingly enough, he says, gold is breaking out. It's breaking out. It's 1273 at the moment, 1273.50, 1274. And I almost killed 3 people on the road getting to my phone and calling my broker and getting a short on gold, because I figured this guy, like almost every one of these guys, when they get hysterical on the air and they're not traders, they know little of what they speak. And, of course, the price range I already knew from watching gold. And so I put on a short. I covered it already, but I knew that there was probably going to be some kind of intraday reversal. I didn't think that there was enough energy in gold, and placed my trade and made some coin, and probably going to use it, all that illicit money, to buy some fairly decent wine and a nice dinner tonight. So I'll thank those people that are on financial infotainment shows that do not trade for pointing out sometimes, especially with their hysteria, inflection points in the market. I'm not one to actually be short gold or any commodity. A lot of stocks can go to zero and go out of business. My guess is that gold will never be worth nothing. My guess is that coffee will never be worth nothing, or natural gas. And if you're going to short something, it can only go to zero. There's no sub-zero. So probably not a bad thing if you're going to be short something like that, to at least limit how long you're going to be short. Things can kind of infinitely go up like tulips, but I was pretty sure that we were right at an inflection point on gold this morning, and thought it must have been right after 8:30, because the markets for gold must have opened up. But what a nice way to start the day off. But we'll digress even further. Of course, we've got a market that's flailing around here. I thought we'd hit a bottom, and I think even more today that we've got that bottom in. That we're looking for 1780, 1785 in the S&P cash. We're basically, I'm going to call it basically flat in the S&Ps this morning, and we've had a lot of movement. Like I said, we were down fairly strongly, but some of the stocks that are moving are quite interesting. Let's take a quick look at the GLD out here today, and we're going back up into this gap. I could pretty much tell you from watching the GLD the last 3 days when we're seeing the volume really come off of this thing that I had a feeling that we were probably setting up a fairly decent opportunity. And let's go to the operative. Yeah, and it needed to really close down a lot lower for me to stay back in. So just a nice intraday trade out here. What you really want to be watching for, though, is that we close back under either the 9-day simple moving average in any of these or in the displaced moving average. You don't want to be seeing this thing close back down below that average now, or I think pretty good indication that we're at least going to go back into this gap from 116 to 117.50 on gold. I know a lot of people are not, and I'm not horribly bearish, nor am I going to be throwing money at this. There's so many better shorts out here. But I think that we could see at least a move or several moves back into this gap area on gold, and that it really couldn't push that 1274 area today. Somewhat problematic in the markets, and we'll keep an eye on it. And of course, if you look at the S&Ps today, especially the ESs on Tom's Bloomberg, starting to look more like a heartbeat than anything else. And I think we're going to see this kind of volatility intraday, and of course it's going to be just tremendous for us traders out here. But that's the first thing. But we've got other things really rattling and rolling, and one of those things is 3D systems, all these 3D stocks. I put out a bulletin, and I'll get it for you during the break, about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I think it was. And I think at the time, 3D Systems was trading at $95, somewhere around at 97. But for the Tech Insider, I had speculated that we had the second of two blow-off tops in this market, and that this would be the last one. This thing has come back off the $54.63 low somewhat, but these things are destined to probably come back into the 50s or 45s, I think, and we'll talk about why when we come back. We also have some big announcements at TFNN, and we'll talk about those in the next segment also.
With over 3 decades of trading experience, Andy Hecht brings a tremendous amount of knowledge and expertise to each weekly issue of his newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report. The Technomental Commodity Report gives you Andy's unique technomental analysis of the commodities market, a combination of technicals and fundamental analysis which he has developed and perfected over his many years of trading. The Technomental Commodity Report is only $49 a month, and right now you can get a full month-long trial subscription while paying absolutely nothing. See for yourself the kind of weekly report Andy delivers to his subscribers every Thursday morning. You'll receive specific stock, ETF, and option trades based on Andy's analysis, so no futures account is required. For all the details and to start your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, visit TFNN.com today.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different futures contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a 2-week free trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Anyway, we were talking about 3D systems, and fairly interesting, but I didn't find a chance. I'll get it during the next break. But we talked about a blow-off top in this. I've had a pretty hot hand here the last few months since we hit that Netflix triple gap play. And probably setting up for a little bit more on that. I think we need just a little bit more time and a lot of these to set up. That's why I'm looking for that 1785. But even these stocks that absolutely have been routed, like the 3D systems, just huge move downs in these things. Pretty good indication that we are seeing a lot of the froth come out of these markets. SSYS. Another one, kind of more of a spinning top, but 3D systems did come out this morning, kind of starting to guide down. I think we're going to start seeing more reality in several of these stocks. Of course, some of the ones that I was short, we were short X1 in the newsletter, and got kind of a gift here today. If you were still short, I got out of it at 42.5, but we were in it at $68. No reason to overstay your welcome. Always leave a little bit for the other guy, so you've got somebody on the other side of the trade. As they say, bears make money, bulls make money, and pigs get slaughtered. We had got 90% of that move, and I was more than happy with it. But a lot of these real big stocks you need to be watching out for. I suspect we're going to see that more of these things start to break, and I'm talking about companies like Tesla, TSLA. This thing is looking very long in the tooth, and NFLX. Probably, we may have another week, 10 days before these start setting up. And in Netflix case, this thing making a little doji out here today, which is going to be interesting. But I'm going to be watching these very closely because they are, we've got some energy up into this top. Does it kind of come down here, maybe dip back down below 400, come back up, test 412 again? But you're going to be wanting to watch these things incredibly close, especially when we see things like the October 22nd high on this at just under 390 with 25 million shares. And, of course, we went through it with 6 million shares. There's just not enough left in any of these. But they are highly shorted, Tesla, Netflix. And I suspect when we see a market that's truly headed down for the long push to at least 1670 on the S&P cash, we're going to see all these babies being thrown out with the bathwater. But one of the reasons why I'm pretty sure that we're going to get at least some or a bit of a bounce out of these markets. Now, we've got some changes coming at TFNN, and one of them is being able to check out my new newsletter. And supposedly it's on here. There it is, right there, using options to trade equities. We've been talking about how options can help you trade in the last 8-7 trading days before expiration. At that date, which will be a week from today, there is a phenomena called going delta neutral. Kind of the equivalent of an arms dealer selling arms to both sides. As long as the war goes on, he's going to make money. In option market makers, what they want to do is lock in the profit. It can get way too volatile for them, so that they'll make sure and hedge out any movement in the underlying so that they can lock in their profits in that last 7 trading days or 8 trading days. And normally you're going to see severe or at least a significant change in volatility on those days. It happens almost every single month. Sometimes it's late Tuesday, sometimes it's early Thursday morning, depending on whether the Fed's out there talking things up or having a press conference or in front of Congress. But normally what you'll see right after that is that they will make their decision and they will try to hedge out what price that they think that a stock will expire. Now, we know that between the Wednesday before, the week before expiration, to that expiration, 85% of those options that are still available will expire worthless. So if you can figure out where the center point of that has been a theme for a long time. But we're going to the break. We're going to come back in just a little minute. We're going to talk more about this, but check out the front page of TFNN, and you'll see my using options to trade equities and ETFs. I've written a white paper. We're going to get back to that in a minute.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Our glue-sniffing engineers think I should become the tarantula of Wall Street. I'm not much for especially bugs like that. Spider is a bug, so I'm not going for no tarantula, nothing like that. But we are talking a little bit about a change in my newsletter. One of the things I did over Christmas is work on writing a scanner to look for opportunities during options expiration. We're going to be adding that to the newsletter, and I'm going to be spending a lot more time on the shorter time frame trades during that time. And we wrote a 15-page report that gets you fairly along the way of understanding why options can be used, especially during that time frame, to give you an indication where at least market makers think that the stock will expire, and some of the things that we can do, why this method works, when it doesn't work, why it doesn't, and how we can look for those things. On the 11th of February, we're going to be doing a webinar. You can sign up for a free 30-day test, and of my newsletter and get a special price on it if you decide to carry on through. But certainly it's on there. You can see some of the trades that we've listed just in the newsletter over the last 45 days, and doing it fairly well. And it's a good time to be at TFNN and making money now that we have a market that's probably a little less skewed by the Fed. And we've got a lot of these indicators working absolutely incredibly well. We're going to talk about more about those tomorrow. But go to the front page of TFNN. Go to this page. You can sign up. Even if you've had my newsletter before, you can get it again. Most newsletters are only testable for 2 weeks. We're going to do this one for a month and also give you a special price if you decide to continue it. So make sure and check that out. And, of course, you'll get that 15-page special report emailed to you as soon as you set up. So if you're interested in understanding how options can help us figure out where stocks are going to move the last 8 trading days or 7 trading days of the month, we certainly will be discussing that in length and giving you some case studies and showing some of the things I've done. I've kind of avoided it because there wasn't a great way to have any setups every month. It was ones that I stumbled over. I had to come up with a way of actually scanning options and finding likely candidates. And my 2-week break for Christmas, I spent a lot of time crunching numbers and figuring out a way to go back and look at these and try to figure out the odds of them. And we'll be covering them in the newsletter and occasionally on the podcast every day. So in the meantime, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648, just like Pat at the Villages in Florida. How you doing today, Pat?
Good. Much better than being up north.
Certainly is.
Poor Beth.
What can we do for you?
Getting snowed on. I was wondering, I've been watching your show and enjoying all the inside information, and you've been nailing it really well. I've been following your discussion on the options curve and the different forms and shapes and everything. Is that, when you show the screen of that, is that your own proprietary software that's graphing that?
Yeah, actually, if you go and get the white paper, it's fairly easy to figure out. You basically look at all the strike prices that are available, and you figure out how much money that particular put or call would be worth if the price expired at that level, and you just graph it out. So you're just adding and subtracting all the possible variations at all the different prices if they expired with no premium. So basically you're just figuring out what the curve is going to be based on what those people do. But if you get my white paper, I've got a lot of examples of what's known as the wisdom of crowds. That is crowdsourcing answers, looking for a lot of and how you get really good answers. But from the space shuttle to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, there are a lot of examples that give you an idea on why this can work and examples of why it doesn't work and why the markets get so far out of whack. But you can check that out for free for 30 days. So get that, and you'll get that 15-page paper and get signed up for the webinar next Tuesday, the 11th.
Okay, thank you very much.
And then we're going to go through that last 8 days together in the newsletter and pretty much on the radio show here every day, and we'll figure it out. But
sounds good.
But I do have a new scanner, so we're going to be showing a lot more of those trades. And there's nothing new. I actually wrote an article in the 2004 Stocks and Commodities magazine about this. There's a few things that I changed. One is that you're not looking for the average, and you'll see what we are looking for in the PDF that you'll get. But there is just a slight difference. But there's some other people that do this, and they basically look for the center point, which would be right on most things, but the distribution is slightly different, and we explain it in the newsletter. And it's kind of interesting, but we go from a the equivalent of a farm trade show in 1906 to the space shuttle to all kinds of examples of how this works and why it works and when it does not work. So I'll give you a good rounded thing, and then we're going to wrap it up with that webinar a week, well, actually now just several days away, the 11th of February. So 30-day free, but just go and sign up there at TFNN, and you'll have it emailed immediately to you, so you can read that and get ready for the webinar on Tuesday.
Sounds good. Very generous of you, 30 days. That's good.
Okay. So go ahead and check that out. Thank you very much,
Pat. Bye now.
Bye. And you can be like Pat. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. We've got a few things going on in the market. And one of the things we did want to talk about are a few of these. One thing you cannot say these days is that you are challenged. Last night, Buffalo Wild Wings was up significantly after they got into the let's see where we got it here. After they got into the conference call, that somewhat changed. Let me get a current quote out here for you. I've got just too many things on my screen at the moment, so give me just a little time to get set up. There's a new one. Okay. BWLD. Anyway, Buffalo Wild Wings, when we look at that, it is interesting to say the least, but hang on just a second. Yeah, whatever. Down $14, but there's two things you can't say right now. But Buffalo Wild Wings, probably the most interesting thing, and they're talking about some of their employees' healthcare costs and rising wages, and that's been enough to kill them off. They're off 10% today. Some of the other ones, WYNN, W-Y-N-N, we'll look at here. And it is WYNN. It's off $5. Interestingly enough, this is on news that numbers are down in Macau. If you know anything about that side of the world, that is China. And to see numbers coming down over there confirms what we know, and that is a slowing economy in China. So you want to be watching out for that also. When we look at the S&P cash, let's do that real quick. And see what else we have going on here. So let me get this. I got to just get everything taken care of here. And, you know, what we have in that really has a setup pretty much, I think, for this move back out here that we actually did go down and break the low of 2 days ago. Very interesting. And I think enough to let us know that volume is still good, but that probably trying to get up above the start of that day on the 3rd, and that's where I'm looking at that 1785, is probably giving us the answer as to whether or not we're going to see this market get much worse. Now, we continue to see these highly short stocks hang up on the highs, and I think that why some of the most egregious ones like 3D printers have rolled over now, and significantly we still haven't seen some of the more egregious of the mainstream stocks. Probably the best one that I can point to is Amazon. We had a lot of people calling up wanting to short LinkedIn, and I said, you know, do you really want to short a stock that's got good earnings unless something physically changes in LinkedIn? Maybe you've got some downside in it, but I thought that Amazon, with no earnings and no profits, well, they got earnings but no profits, much better. Now, when we look at this, another good idea of thinking why that we're at least at some support levels on many of these stocks. Amazon, of course, down here back in the gap. That gap was on huge volume on an earnings date back on the 25th of October. And, you had 12 million shares. We came into it with 10 million shares on the huge move down. And so you're going to be light there. And certainly the last couple of days are light. All of the other stocks, also one of the ones we really pointed out was Apple and how well these confluence levels are working in Apple. And this thing came right to our 496, got down to 493 for just a handful of minutes, closed right back into this trading zone. It's now probably going to come back up here. I suspect you're going to see something like probably, 534, somewhere in that area, setting up the I'm zooming in here a little bit more, but that is 534.34, which would just be a 50% retracement. And, of course, we've got Carl Icahn out pimping this. My guess is he'll be actually selling this into this move. He's probably figuring out that maybe he went a little bit one bridge too far in adding another $500 million to this trade. I think he probably, you got a company with $150, $180 billion, probably the least risky of his trades out here. Probably not a whole lot of downside, but certainly what you want to look at is a retest of this 496 level after we get at least to 524, more likely 534. But a lot of shorts in this thing, and I'm suspecting we're going to see some kind of intraday reversal in a lot of these stocks, Netflix, Apple. These things are going to roll a lot of shorts out that got a little early. And at that point, we're going to see something just like we saw this morning in gold when I shorted it, and that is a bunch of hysteria that the market's back, everybody's forgot about shorting it, and we're going to get all these late-to-the-party shorts squoozing out of this marketplace, and that'll be it. Okay, we've got two questions in the den. I actually eat it, but I got a question in the den. Polar is allergic to buffalo wings. No, I'm not. I actually eat there once or twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, half price. I am one of the tightest, stingiest guys in the world. And I go to Taco Tuesday night. On Wednesday night, it's half price boneless at Buffalo Wild Wings. So I've got all my places mapped out to eat fairly good. Well, last night was Taco Tuesday. Half-priced margaritas and chicken tacos and free chips. Hey, I'm probably going to start going to early bird specials at 4:30 in the afternoon. I get another year old. Oh, I was sneezing about talking about wings. It has more to do with the air conditioning kicking on and off in here. And we'll look at it. But we're going to a break. We'll be back in a minute. Remember to check out the front page of TFNN.com, and I'll pop a few things up between now and then.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to the Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days, unconditionally, so there's no risk to you, other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And as we come back, check back into the marketplace one more time and take a quick look. Let me update this. And just to make sure. Where we're at, 1751. We're off 3 points and change on the S&P cash, 2.8 billion shares. I would not be surprised that we stumble up all the way into next Wednesday. We've got our new Fed president, Mrs. Yellen. I think it's Mrs. Yellen. That will be in front of Congress. I suspect we're probably going to see a little bit of cash come back into this market after China comes back from their Lunar New Year. In fact, I'm going to call this the Lunar New Year correction in the marketplace. But 80% of options expirations weeks between that Wednesday and 2 expiration are bullish. Could we hang out all the way till then? Yes. And I think we'll have the answer by that next Wednesday. But I think we've had the first round of a movement in these markets, and everybody's probably all short now. We're going to need to let a little bit of that pressure off the marketplace and get back into it. But anyway, we were talking about a special report, and I'm going to show at least the front page of it here. But we've got actually several pages of it here, of the patterns, what we're looking for, how they work, and some examples back to actually even 2004. When I started trading these patterns, the OEX was there. It wasn't the SPYs. The OAX has pretty much gone away as a trading vehicle, and one of the reasons why we've talked about, and this I'll bring this up actually in the webinar, but the OAX was 100 stocks in the S&P cash, and of course not very representative of the total stock market. If you figure out that there are 5,000 or 6,000 stocks that have decent volume and that are real, that are tradable, and make that your universe of stocks, you could go back and mathematically figure out how many stocks you actually need to sample randomly to get plus or minus 5% view of what's happening in the marketplace. And that number comes to, depending on how far you're willing to go out, 327. I like 373 stocks. But if you pick those, that would be a pretty good representative sample. Of course, anything less, probably a lot more wild variations. And actually, that does us a lot of good because it's going to be those, like OEXs, were always, when you got to expiration, a lot farther out than the market itself. And you could, many months, find those way off, and they would correct toward that Friday expiration. The market makers got tired of people like me making huge money off of them and those OEX options, and they moved to the SPYs. And, of course, with a 500 share sample, you get a much better look at what's going to happen in the marketplace, and certainly probably plus or minus 2%. I'll actually put those numbers together for the webinar next Tuesday. But, it's just like asking 5 people who wants to be president. Probably not a very good sample size. You go out and ask 1,500 people, you're probably plus or minus 4 people in the United States, as long as you get a representative sample. That paper will explain to you why there is the stupidity of crowds. But make sure and check that out. TFNN, 1 month free test of my newsletter, no charge. Special price if you continue to actually subscribe to it, and check it out. We'll be talking all through the next week about it and through expiration. Anyway, have a safe and wonderful day. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.